So we know back to school can bring excitement, it can bring nervousness, new teachers, new friends, a lot of newness, right? It can also bring germs, sniffles, coughs, colds. So when do you need to worry, and how do you know the difference between, let's say, a minor cold and something more serious? We are checking in with registered nurse Jake Mossip for some answers this morning. Nurse Jake is here in studio. So good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And so timely, obviously. Okay, so let's go through these steps. So step one, you say, check temperature. What are we looking for?
Yeah, make sure you have a thermometer at home. Want parents to know that children's temperature does fluctuate throughout the day, but the normal temperature is 36.5 degrees Celsius to 37.5 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So if it increases from their normal but stays below 38 degrees Celsius, that's a mild fever. As soon as it hits that 38 degrees Celsius or 100.4 Fahrenheit or over, then that's a fever and could be indicative of something more serious happening.
And in terms of what I was gonna say utensil, but thermometer to use. So we've got the ones where you can like click here.
Zap it on the forehead.
Yeah, and we've got ones that now are in the ear, very different from, you guys remember how we grew up? I certainly do. Are they all as effective?
Yeah, I mean, different ages, you want to do different regions. So for infants a year under, you want to do rectum. As soon as they get over a year, you can do armpit, okay, or the tympanic, which is the ear. And then we say under the tongue when a child can hold it there themselves. And then the forehead, you use later, older children or adults.
Good reading there. Okay, so after the temperature is checked, what sort of symptoms should we be looking for?
Yeah, so once you've established the temperature, you want to look at secondary symptoms. So first, if it's something mild, you would have like those cold flu-like symptoms. So runny nose, stuffed nose, sneezing, things like a headache or a very mild sore throat. Once it gets more serious, you're going to see those symptoms progress. So you'll have a worsening cough, maybe they'll have difficulty breathing. You might see a rash, or those tonsils are going to get swollen and they're going to have difficulty swallowing. Right? That headache might get worse, or that sore throat gets worse.
And also, Jake, one of the other things, of course, is like their demeanor, how they're acting, right?
Yeah, 100%. So thermometer is not going to test that.
Yeah.
And as nurses and healthcare professionals, we rely on parents to know the behavior of their child. Research shows that behavior can be a key indicator in when something more serious is happening. So there are a few things you want to look at. Are they irritable? Are they crying to a point where it's unconsolable? Are they lethargic or sluggish, right? How is their mood? And then you want to look at their eating. Are they eating less? Are they taking in less fluids? And then look at them. Is their skin pale or flush, or do they just look uncomfortable?
You can tell usually, like, my kids can get very lethargic.
Parents know.
And I know when there's no energy there, I gotta be doing something, something is happening. So then there comes the point, Jake, where you say, okay, do I need to go to the ER, or can this be treated at home with, let's say, Tylenol or Advil? So what do you recommend in terms of that?
Yeah, a lot of parents and guardians, this is where they struggle. So I'm gonna break it into two categories.
Okay.
If they're 3 months or under, especially under 1 month, and they have a fever, go to the hospital right away. Feel comfortable in knowing that you should just go. As soon as they hit that 3-month mark and older, you can try over-the-counter medication. So there's acetaminophen, which goes by Tylenol, or ibuprofen, which goes by Advil. They can either be given together or spaced out. And the important thing with this is it's based on their age and their weight. So check the box or speak to your pharmacist. When you get to that older age, you'll only want to go to the hospital in 1 to 2 days for 2 reasons. One is if the fever is not getting better with everything that you're trying at home.
After how many days?
1 to 2 days.
1 to 2 days, got it, okay.
Okay, or if the fever does go away, but some of those secondary symptoms that we spoke about earlier get worse.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the question, so when can they go back to school, especially over the last little while with, you know, COVID, pandemic, and all that? When can you send them back?
Yeah, parents want them to go back to school.
When can they go back?
So public health and guidelines typically say 48 hours after their last symptoms. And then obviously just check in with your school as they each have their own very unique policies. But yeah, you want them back.
I'll tell you that, Nurse Jake, like my daughter has had a cough for literally 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things I'm like, she doesn't have COVID. I feel like I have to tell everybody, but she has this lingering cough.
And some things are chronic, and I have tons of friends with kids, and like their kids have runny noses constantly. You know when it's something to do with being sick or something that's normal from them, and the providers and the schools, they'll also know this. So just have that conversation. Sometimes a doctor's note is needed just to, you know, verify, but yeah.
Thank you for the tee up, Nurse Jake. Great to have you in studio.
Hopefully
we'll see you again soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.